The ultimatum, the warning sirens echoed through the corridors of Titan Defense Station as Captain Elena Rodriguez strode toward the command center. Her boots clicked against the metal flooring with determined rhythm, each step carrying the weight of humanity's fate. The massive view screen dominated the far wall, displaying a sight that would have terrified lesser species. Hundreds of Corvani warships hung in the darkness beyond Pluto's orbit, their black holes gleaming with the promise of destruction. Elena's communication officer, Lieutenant Hayes, looked up from his console with barely concealed fear. "Captain, we're receiving another transmission from the Corvani flagship. Emperor Zathak himself is demanding a response." Elena nodded grimly. The Corvani Empire had conquered 17 star systems in the past decade, each time following the same pattern. They would arrive in overwhelming force, demand submission, and then either accept vassalage or reduce entire worlds to ash. No species had ever successfully resisted them. No species had ever been foolish enough to try. "Put him through," Elena commanded, her voice steady despite the circumstances. The holographic display flickered to life, revealing the imposing figure of Emperor Zathak. The Corvani ruler stood nearly 8 feet tall, his forearms crossed over his armored chest. His scaled skin bore the ritual scars of countless victories, and his 6 eyes burned with the cold calculation of a predator. Behind him, the bridge of his flagship bustled with activity as thousands of crew members prepared for what they assumed would be another easy conquest. "Human," Zathak's voice resonated through the speakers, each word dripping with contempt. "I have shown remarkable patience with your primitive species. For 3 standard days, my fleet has waited while you considered my generous offer. The time for deliberation has ended." Elena stepped forward, her chin raised in defiance. "Emperor Zathak, I am Captain Elena Rodriguez, speaking for the unified governments of Earth and her colonies. We have considered your proposal carefully." "Proposal?" Zathak's mandibles clicked with amusement. "You mistake an ultimatum for negotiation. Submit to the Empire's rule, provide tribute, surrender your military assets, and your species will be allowed to continue existing as vassals. Refuse, and we will demonstrate why the Corvani Empire is the dominant force in this galaxy." Elena's hands clenched at her sides, but her voice remained controlled. "We refuse." The silence that followed seemed to stretch across the void itself. Zathak's 6 eyes narrowed, his massive form leaning forward as if he couldn't quite believe what he had heard. "Refuse? Do you comprehend the forces arrayed against you? My fleet numbers over 800 vessels. Each one possesses the firepower to crack your homeworld's crust. We have reduced entire civilizations to cosmic dust for lesser insults." "We understand perfectly," Elena replied. "And we have one final message for you and your empire." She gestured to Hayes, who activated the system-wide broadcast. Elena's image would now be transmitted to every Corvani vessel, every monitoring station, every communication relay in the solar system. When she spoke, her words would echo across the galaxy within hours. "This is Captain Elena Rodriguez of the Terran Defense Force, by order of the United Earth Government and the Colonial Council. I am authorized to deliver this warning to the Corvani Empire and any other force that threatens humanity." Elena paused, letting her words sink in. In the background, she could hear the subtle hum of systems coming online throughout the station. Deep in the asteroid belt, automated platforms were powering up. On Mars, massive railguns were rotating toward the sky. In the outer colonies, defensive networks that had been dormant for decades were awakening. "We did not seek this conflict," Alina continued. We offered peaceful coexistence. We attempted diplomatic solutions. We extended friendship to those who would accept it. But we will not bow to tyranny. We will not accept subjugation, and we will not allow our species to be enslaved. Emperor Zathik's expression had shifted from amusement to anger. Brave words from a dead woman. My fleet will learn why humanity survived the ice ages, the plagues, the wars, and the long journey to the stars, Alina interrupted. We are not the same species that first looked up at the night sky and wondered what lay beyond. We are not the primitive creatures that your intelligence reports described. We are the children of Earth, forged in fire and tempered by adversity. The Broadcast continued as Elena's voice gained strength and conviction. For 50 years, we have known this day would come. We have prepared. We have planned. We have built defenses that your empire cannot imagine. We have weapons that your species has never encountered. And we have something that your empire, for all its conquered worlds and enslaved populations, will never possess. And what is that? Zathak snarled. We fight for our freedom, Alina said simply. We fight for our children. We fight for the right to exist as free beings in a universe that seems determined to crush the light of liberty. Your empire conquers because it can. We defend because we must, and history will show which motivation proves stronger. She leaned forward, her eyes burning with the intensity of her conviction. This is your final warning, Emperor Zathak. Withdraw your forces from our system. Return to your empire. Tell your people that humanity is not prey to be hunted. We are not subjects to be ruled. We are not resources to be harvested. We are free, and we will remain free, no matter the cost. The transmission ended, leaving the command center in tense silence. Zathik's image flickered with rage, his forearms gesturing wildly as he barked orders to his subordinates. The alien emperor's response was predictable and swift. You have sealed your fate, human. Your species will be remembered only as a cautionary tale about the price of defiance. All ships, advance to attack formation. Prepare for planetary bombardment. Let us show the galaxy what happens to those who dare oppose the Corvani Empire. As the communication links severed, Alina turned to her bridge crew. The fear in their eyes was unmistakable, but so was their determination. They had all volunteered for this assignment, knowing full well what it might cost them. They were humanity's first line of defense, and they would not fail. General Stone to command, came a voice through the internal communication system. All defensive platforms are online. The Prometheus protocol is fully activated. We are ready to receive the enemy. Alina nodded, though General Stone couldn't see her from his position in the war room buried deep beneath the lunar surface. Marcus Stone was a veteran of the colonial wars, a man who had seen humanity at its worst and its best. If he said they were ready, then they were as ready as they could be. Dr. Chen, reporting from Research Station Alpha, came another voice. Final weapon calibrations are complete. All systems are showing green across the board. The theoretical models have been validated. We are go for implementation. Dr. Sarah Chen had spent the last 20 years developing the technologies that would either save humanity or die with it. Her work had been classified at the highest levels, known only to a handful of individuals across the solar system. Today, her theories would be put to the ultimate test. Admiral Petrov, status report, Alina requested. The fleet is in position, came the gruff reply. We've got every operational vessel spread across the system. The Corvani probably think we're trying to delay them with our pathetic little ships, They have no idea what we're really planning. Viktor Petrov commanded humanity's space fleet, such as it was. Compared to the Corvani armada, the human vessels looked like toys. But appearances, as the Empire was about to learn, could be devastatingly deceiving. Alina took her position at the command console, her fingers dancing across the holographic interface. Around her, the crew worked with quiet efficiency, their movements precise and practiced. They had run this scenario thousands of times in simulations, but reality had a weight that no training could fully prepare them for. Corvani fleet is accelerating, reported the tactical officer. They're moving in standard conquest formation. Looks like they're planning to sweep through the outer colonies first, then converge on Earth. Exactly as predicted, Alina murmured. Let them come. Let them think they understand us. Let them believe their intelligence reports and their preconceptions. Every assumption they make works in our favor. The Corvani fleet moved with the confidence of inevitability. Their black ships cut through space like a plague of locusts, their weapons charging, their crews eager for another easy victory. Emperor Zathik's forces had perfected the art of conquest through overwhelming force and psychological warfare. They had never encountered a species that refused to break under pressure. As the enemy fleet advanced, automated distress signals began broadcasting from the outer colonies. Frantic messages spoke of evacuation failures, of defense systems going offline, of human ships retreating in panic. The Corvani intercepted these transmissions with satisfaction, interpreting them as proof of humanity's collapse. What they didn't know was that every signal was carefully crafted, every retreat precisely planned, every apparent failure a deliberate deception. The outer colonies weren't abandoned, they were transformed. Where the Corvani expected to find fleeing refugees, they would instead discover the true extent of human ingenuity. Alina watched the tactical display as the enemy fleet spread across the solar system. Each Corvani ship was a masterpiece of military engineering, armed with weapons that could shatter moons and protected by shields that had never been breached. But the humans had spent 5 decades studying Corvani technology, analyzing their tactics, and preparing for this exact moment. They're taking the bait, General Stone reported. The lead elements are moving toward the asteroid belt. They think they're chasing our fleeing miners. Dr. Chen, are you ready? Alina asked. Ready as we'll ever be, came the reply. The Prometheus array is fully charged. All research stations are reporting successful integration. The moment they enter the activation zone, we can begin. Alina nodded, her heart pounding with anticipation and fear. The Prometheus protocol was humanity's greatest secret, a weapon system that pushed the boundaries of known physics. It was also completely untested in actual combat conditions. They would get one chance to prove it worked. If they failed, humanity would face extinction. All stations, this is command, Alina announced. The enemy is committing to their attack. Phase 1 is complete. Prepare for Phase 2 initiation. Remember, we are not just fighting for our survival. We are fighting for our future. We are fighting for the right to stand among the stars as free beings. Today, we show the galaxy what humanity can achieve when we stand united. The Corvani fleet continued its advance, unaware that they were walking into the most sophisticated trap in human history. Emperor Zathak stood on his flagship's bridge, watching the tactical displays with satisfaction. Soon, another species would kneel before the Empire's might. Another world would be added to their domain. Another victory would be carved into the annals of Corvani conquest. But in the depths of space, hidden weapon platforms were awakening. On distant asteroids, camouflaged installations were powering up. Throughout the solar system, the true extent of human preparation was about to be revealed. The Corvani Empire had never faced an enemy like humanity. They had never encountered a species that combined technological innovation with the desperate courage of beings fighting for their very existence. The trap was set, the players were in position, and the galaxy was about to witness the birth of a new power among the stars. Asterisk. The reckoning, the first indication that something was wrong, came when Commander Valix of the Corvani Advance Guard reported impossible readings from the asteroid belt. Her tactical officer, a veteran of 30 conquest campaigns, stared at his instruments with growing confusion. "Commander, the sensor array is detecting massive energy signatures throughout the belt. These readings don't match any known technology." Scaled features darkened with concern. "Clarify your report." "What kind of energy signatures?" "Unknown, ma'am. The signatures they're everywhere. It's like the entire asteroid belt is one massive weapon system." Before Valix could respond, space around her fleet erupted in brilliant light. What the Corvani had assumed were ordinary asteroids suddenly revealed their true nature. Massive weapon platforms, disguised with sophisticated camouflage technology, emerged from rocky shells like mechanical flowers blooming in the void. Each platform bristled with armaments that defied conventional understanding of human capabilities. "All ships, evasive maneuvers," Valix shouted, but her words were lost in the chaos of the opening barrage. The Prometheus array fired its first salvo, and the effect was beyond anything the Corvani had experienced. Instead of conventional energy weapons or kinetic projectiles, the human platforms launched something far more terrifying. Focused gravitational fields tore through space, warping reality itself around the enemy vessels. Corvani ships that had withstood direct hits from stellar class weapons found their hulls twisting and buckling under forces that attacked the very fabric of space-time. Admiral Petrov's voice crackled through the communication channels from his flagship, the UES Defiance. "All human vessels, execute Operation Lazarus. Let's show these bastards what we've really been building out here." The retreating human ships suddenly revealed their true nature. What had appeared to be desperate evacuation vessels were actually advanced stealth platforms, their hulls lined with adaptive armor that could mimic almost any energy signature. The Corvani had been tracking decoys while the real human fleet positioned itself for the perfect ambush. Emperor Zathic's massive flagship, the Eternal Dominion, shuddered as gravitational weapons tore through its escort vessels. The Corvani ruler's 6 eyes blazed with fury as he realized the magnitude of his miscalculation. Impossible. Human technology is primitive. They lack the industrial capacity for such weapons. His chief scientist, advisor Kalin, manipulated the holographic display with trembling appendages. "My Emperor, these readings suggest the humans have been preparing for this conflict for decades. Their entire solar system has been converted into a defensive network. Every asteroid, every moon, every orbital platform is armed. Then we destroy them all," Zathak roared. "Signal all battle groups. Converge on Earth. We will burn their homeworld, to slag and end this defiance once and for all." But as the Corvani fleet attempted to regroup, they discovered that the humans had anticipated this response as well. The route to Earth led through a gauntlet of defensive positions, each one more sophisticated than the last. The moons of Jupiter had been converted into massive fortress worlds, their surfaces bristling with weapons that could target vessels across the entire system. Saturn's rings concealed a network of mines and automated defenders that struck without warning. Dr. Chen's voice echoed through the human command network from her research station. Prometheus Array is performing beyond all projections. We're seeing a 97% hit rate on gravitational distortion weapons. The Corvini shields are completely ineffective against attacks that bypass normal space. Alina watched the tactical display with grim satisfaction. The enemy fleet was trapped in a carefully orchestrated killing field. Their superior numbers meaningless against humanity's technological advantage. But she knew the real test was yet to come. The Corvini Empire had not conquered 17 star systems through superior firepower alone. They were tactically brilliant, ruthlessly adaptive, and utterly without mercy. General Stone, what's our status on the secondary platforms? Alina asked. Coming online now, Stone replied. The Corvini are adapting faster than we hoped. They're using their heavy cruisers as shields, while their flagships charge some kind of super weapon. We need to accelerate our timeline. Alina nodded, her fingers flying across the command interface. All stations, initiate Phase 3. Activate the Soul Barrier. Let's see how the Empire handles fighting inside a gravity well they can't escape. The Soul Barrier was humanity's most audacious defensive measure. Using a network of gravitational generators positioned throughout the solar system, human scientists had created a way to artificially strengthen the sun's gravity field. Any vessel entering the system would find themselves trapped, unable to achieve the escape velocity necessary to retreat. The Corvini fleet was now locked in a battle they couldn't flee from. Emperor Zathic's rage was palpable as his ships found themselves unable to disengage. Advisor Kalen, explain to me how a species that achieved interstellar flight less than a century ago has managed to cage my entire fleet. The gravitational manipulation technology is unprecedented, Kalen replied, her voice shaking with fear. They're using our own momentum against us. Every ship that entered the system is now trapped by artificially enhanced gravitational fields. We cannot retreat, and advancing only draws us deeper into their defensive network. Then we fight, Zathak declared. Signal all ships. Maximum power to weapons. If we cannot retreat, we will make them pay dearly for their victory. The Corvini fleet launched a desperate assault, their massive ships pouring fire into the human defensive positions. For a moment, it seemed like the Empire's superior firepower might break through. Several human platforms were destroyed, their crews dying in silence as their installations were vaporized by alien weapons. But humanity had learned from every species the Corvini had conquered. They had studied the Empire's tactics, analyzed their strategies, and prepared countermeasures for every possible response. As the enemy fleet committed to their attack, the human defenders revealed their final surprise. This is Captain Rodriguez to all human forces, Alina broadcast. The enemy has committed to close engagement. Initiate the Prometheus final protocol. Show them what humanity is truly capable of. The response was immediate and overwhelming. Every human vessel, every defensive platform, every hidden installation throughout the solar system activated weapons that had been held in reserve. The Corvini found themselves facing not just superior technology, but superior tactics, superior planning, and the desperate courage of a species fighting for its very existence. The battle raged for hours, but the outcome was never truly in doubt. The Corvini Empire had walked into a trap 50 years in the making, and humanity was too well prepared to allow them to escape. One by one, the alien vessels were destroyed or disabled, their crews either killed or captured. Finally, only Emperor Zathic's flagship remained, its hull scarred by gravitational weapons, its escorts destroyed, its crew facing the impossible reality of defeat. Elena's image appeared on the Emperor's bridge, her face calm despite the magnitude of what had just occurred. "Emperor Zathic," she said quietly, "your fleet is destroyed. Your invasion has failed. You have a choice to make." The alien rulers' 6 eyes burned with humiliation and rage. "You cannot have one. My empire spans 17 star systems, my fleet's number in the thousands. This was merely an advance force." "I know," Alina replied, "and that's exactly why you're going to listen very carefully to what I'm about to tell you. This was not a battle, Emperor. This was a demonstration. We wanted you to see what happens when humanity is forced to defend itself. We wanted you to understand the price of threatening our freedom." She gestured to the tactical display, which now showed the complete destruction of the Corvani fleet. "Your empire rules through fear and overwhelming force, but fear is a weapon that cuts both ways. Today, you learned to fear us. Tomorrow, you will carry that fear back to your empire and share it with every world under your rule." Emperor Zathic's mandibles clicked with frustration. "What do you want?" "Peace," Elena said simply. "Not submission, not tribute, not vassalage. Peace. Your empire will recognize humanity's sovereignty. You will respect our borders. You will trade with us as equals, not as conquerors and conquered. And you will spread the word to every other empire, every other species, every other force in this galaxy that might consider Earth an easy target. And if I refuse," Elena's expression hardened, "then you will join your fleet. The choice is yours, Emperor. But understand this: humanity will no longer be threatened, intimidated, or enslaved. We have shown you what we're capable of when we defend ourselves. Do not force us to show you what we're capable of when we attack." The communication link severed, leaving Zathic alone with his thoughts and his fears. The Emperor who had conquered 17 star systems now faced the humbling reality that he had finally encountered a species that would not bow to his will. Hours later, the Eternal Dominion limped away from the solar system, its hull bearing the scars of humanity's message. Emperor Zathic sat in his command chamber, composing the most difficult communication of his reign. The message would be broadcast throughout the Corvani Empire and beyond, carrying news that would reshape the political landscape of the galaxy. "This is Emperor Zathic of the Corvani Empire," the message began. "Let it be known throughout the galaxy that the species known as humanity is not to be threatened, conquered, or enslaved. They have proven themselves capable of defending their freedom with weapons and tactics that surpass our understanding. Any force that attempts to subjugate them will face the same fate as our fleet." The message continued, each word a recognition of humanity's new place in the galactic hierarchy. "The Corvani Empire hereby recognizes the sovereignty of humanity and their territories. We will engage in peaceful trade and diplomatic relations, respecting their autonomy and their right to exist as free beings." As the message spread across the galaxy, other empires took notice. The species that had seemed ripe for conquest was now recognized as a power to be respected. The humans who had been dismissed as primitive had proven themselves capable of standing against the galaxy's most feared military force. On Earth, celebrations erupted in every city as news of the victory spread. But Alina Rodriguez stood alone in her quarters, looking out at the stars with a mixture of pride and sorrow. They had won their freedom, but the cost had been enormous. The solar system bore the scars of battle, and too many good people had died to secure humanity's place among the stars. "Captain," came a voice from her communication console. It was Dr. Chen, calling from her research station. "The gravitational distortions are dissipating. The soul barrier is powering down. We're getting reports from across the system. The victory is complete." Alina nodded, though Chen couldn't see her. "Thank you, Doctor. Your work saved us all." "No," Chen replied. "We saved ourselves. All of us, working together. That's what humanity does. We face impossible odds, and we find a way to overcome them." As the days passed, the full scope of humanity's victory became clear. The Corvani Empire, the galaxy's most feared military force, had been defeated by a species that had achieved interstellar flight less than a century earlier. The news spread like wildfire through the galaxy, carried by traders, diplomats, and refugees from the Empire's conquered worlds. Other species began to take notice of humanity in a new light. The primitive upstarts, who had seemed destined for subjugation, were now recognized as a force to be reckoned with. Diplomatic overtures began arriving from across the galaxy, each one acknowledging humanity's new status as a galactic power. But perhaps the most significant change was in humanity itself. The victory had proven that they could stand against any threat, that their ingenuity and determination were weapons as powerful as any gravitational distortion cannon. They had faced extinction and emerged stronger than ever. Alina stood on the observation deck of Titan Station, watching the repair crews work to restore the damaged defensive platforms. In the distance, she could see the construction of new vessels, new weapons, new defenses. Humanity would never again be caught unprepared. "The galaxy is watching us now," she said to herself. "They're wondering what we'll do next. They're wondering if we'll become conquerors, like the Corvani, or if we'll remain true to our principles." The answer, she knew, would shape the future. Of the galaxy, humanity had proven they could defend themselves. Now they would prove they could be worthy of the freedom they had fought so hard to preserve. As the stars wheeled overhead, Alina smiled. The galaxy was vast, full of wonders and dangers yet to be discovered. But humanity would face that future as free beings, unbowed and unbroken, ready to defend their liberty against any threat that might arise. The Empire had been warned. The galaxy had been warned. And the message was clear. Humanity would not be conquered, would not be enslaved, would not be denied their place among the stars. They were free, and they would remain free, no matter what forces might rise against them. The age of human expansion had begun, and the galaxy would never be the same.